Hi, this is Eugene. I just want to let you guys know that we won second place at the King Trivia Doctor Who night. It was at Timmy Nolan's in Toluca Lake, and it was just a fun time. There was four of us. There wasn't a table big enough for all of us to make it, but we still showed up and had a lot of fun. And
by 1 point.
Curse you, Vampires of Venice.
we met the hostess, Heather. She's very knowledgeable of her stuff, and
she was great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Hope she likes our podcast. And thanks again, and we look forward to the next Doctor Who trivia night that King Trivia will be throwing.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
No, you couldn't.
Why don't you just quickly say we had a lot of fun at WonderCon? We dressed up.
Eugene cosplayed as the War Doctor.
You want to mention Daisy? Since she was with us.
Arlene cosplayed as
Because WonderCon just happened.
Clara. Wow, I'm not doing very good names today. Cosplayed as Clara. I cosplayed as a woman in a cape-like cloak. Auburn cosplayed as a Star Wars fan.
There you go. There's our plug.
WonderCon.
And I was bystander 17.
I was disembodied voice.
That was my first comic convention, though.
What did you think?
I had fun. There was a lot of people, though.
Was it
But I had
really
fun.
big? You think it was bigger Sunday than Saturday?
We had fun on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday didn't feel too bad. I mean,
Compared to actual Comic-Con and stuff, that was...
compared to
Yeah.
Comic-Con,
So
it was
it's
light.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt like
It gets
compared to
worse, so this is a good thing.
I felt on Saturday we could walk through the aisles without too much trouble, but on Sunday there was a little more like
Really?
bumper to bumper, elbow to elbow.
On Saturday, they had the costume competition, so a lot of people were dressed up in real great costumes everywhere. So that's something that I was never privy to. I
yeah,
never went on that
Frank
day
was having
before.
so much
It
fun.
was just amazing, some of the stuff that people come up with and how they're able
Yeah.
to execute it.
Maybe that's what a lot of people did was they did cosplay on Saturday and then walked around on Sunday. That's why it was a little more crowded.
Right.
Because when I was with our friend Daisy, she was dressed in a Darth Vader couture dress. She kept getting stopped every 20.
That was a great.
Yeah.
I saw a photo of that. And your War Doctor was amazing.
She helped me with the War Doctor too, so
Yeah, that was great.
wish you could have seen it in person.
A lot of people stopped him. You're the best War Doctor I've ever seen.
That's not true. They didn't say that.
But Eugene
did.
did take a lot of pictures with people.
And Eugene goes, who? This is my regular clothes.
This is my Sunday best.
What's a Comic-Con?
Comic Con, Vincent.
I thought there were going to be stand-up comics everywhere. What's going on?
WonderCon.
27.
Welcome to Who Knew. We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and here we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights into the modern regeneration of the show. Today's episode is Season 2, or Series 2, depending on what part of the world you're from. It consists of 13-hour-long episodes plus a Christmas special, depending on what service you're on. Let's introduce who is here. Hi, this is Eugene.
Hello, this is Frank.
Hi, this is Kelsey.
Hello, this is Auburn.
Arlene.
Hi, this is Brian.
We are missing Josh today.
He's taking a well-deserved vacation.
Yes. Right now, Season 2 is available for streaming on Amazon Prime, so you can catch up that way. And I'm going to say this up front, but there are going to be spoilers, so we're able to talk about the full breadth of Season 2 without jumping the timeline like we normally say. So if you haven't watched Season 2, please go and do that now.
We'll wait.
The DVD set is also available now, and that is also dropped down in price to about $30 to around $40, depending on what service or retailer you go to. And this is the first year of David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, and our second year of Rose as the companion, played by Billie Piper.
One thing before you move on, there's also a Blu-ray set that either
Currently,
is coming out or is about to come out.
I was going to say currently working
But-
on it.
Be careful because this was not filmed in HD. So if you get a Blu-ray, it's an up-res from the standard definition. So it's not going to look perfect,
Yeah.
pristine as
It
the
should.
current Doctor Who episodes are.
Yes, also the DVD box set I think is worth getting because it has commentary on every episode, and it's not just audio commentary. Some of them have video commentary, which I still don't understand the point of.
That's a picture-in-picture type
picture,
of thing. So there you
yeah.
see them talking in the bottom corner.
Yes.
The reason for those is if you have a crush on the Doctor or Rose, you get to see them talk throughout the whole episode.
So you get to see two of them
Yeah.
on screen at the same
Yes.
time. Well, some of them don't even feature the Doctor or Rose. So
Boo.
there are Doctor Who confidential episodes related to the episodes in the series, so those are also worth getting. And I think there are video diaries.
Little making of.
Yeah, making of stuff. And the video diary.
Yeah, David Tennant's video diaries.
I think first season has Billy Piper's.
Billy Piper's, yeah.
And then season 2 has David Tennant.
And we are in no way financially connected to the BBC. You know? We're not advertising their products. It's just telling you how to get to them.
I'm just saying that the DVD set is worth it because it has all of these things. And yes, we are not associated with them in any way. But if
this isn't a plug,
No.
We're not getting paid to say this. We just like it.
But if they want to send some our way, I'm not going to complain. Series 2 has, I guess, the prestige of spinning off 2 series from season 2, which is Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures.
Very different shows.
Yeah, very different. Season 2 has the arc, or the clue, the big bad of Torchwood. And Brian has that, or Frank has that.
I thought season 1 was the big bad wolf. Not the big bad wolf. Bad wolf.
Bad
We
wolf.
should explain that.
We're going to clarify that.
Yeah. Russell liked the concept that Joss Whedon did with Buffy the Vampire Slayer of each season of Buffy had what was referred to as the big bad. So every season focused on one main particular villain. If it was the Master, but not our Master, but if it was the Master in season 1 or season 5 had Glory, that's what the season built towards, and the season finale was also the resolution of that big bad. He liked that concept, so he created his own version of the big bad. And we were discussing it last night. We don't really like the term big bad for Doctor Who. At least I don't.
It's easy for us to associate with.
I say of it more as like the big mystery.
Yes.
So there's the season 1, the big mystery was Bad Wolf. Why was Bad Wolf showing up?
And it's not a villain.
But the reason we don't like the big bad is because that's not a story arc that the villain has multiple episodes and are thwarting our heroes throughout the whole season. You know, in Buffy, especially like with Glory, she would show up. There's the mayor, there's the master. Those issues would continually come up in other episodes. So they'd have standalone episodes, but then also weave through it the big bad. In Doctor Who, a lot of times it's either not a villain, like Rose wasn't a villain being Bad Wolf, but it's more of a mystery of what is this? And he's leaving clues throughout all the different
clues.
Episodes.
Bad Wolf didn't enter into any plot of an episode. It just kept showing up. This season, it was Torchwood. We kept getting references to something called Torchwood. You know, the original reference to Torchwood actually happened in the episode Bad Wolf in season 1. It was an answer to one of the weakest link questions.
By the android.
Yeah.
You know, in the Christmas Invasion, the lasers that shot down
The
Sycorax.
Sycorax.
was by Torchwood, so they had that in there.
And the mystery
Tooth and Claw.
begins there. Sorry. But the mystery begins in Christmas Invasion because the Prime Minister talks about Torchwood and the General says, how do you even know they exist? So it's like, right in Christmas Invasion, there's this mystery that here's Torchwood, which even the Prime Minister of Great Britain should not know exists.
And of course, Tooth and Claw starts it all because of the Torchwood estate. And that's saying, no, the Doctor is now against Britain, or Britain's now saying, is our enemy. School Reunion has Torchwood, the access denied when Mickey is trying to find out what's going on at the school. Rise of the Cybermen, Rose is sitting on the bench, and the news mentions Torchwood. And also at the party with Rose and Pete, they have their little awkward conversation, and Pete then asks another guy, so how are things at Torchwood? Which is well known in that other universe, I guess, because it's just at the party. Idiot's Lantern has one when they're, I think, interrogating the Doctor in the background, you know, thinking that maybe we should call Torchwood, so they know about it.
Yeah, it's the scene where it's revealed to the Doctor that Rose is faceless.
She used too much vanishing cream. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Going into Satan's Pit. You know, there are members of the Torchwood Archives. The captain says that.
Captain, yeah.
Love and Monsters. That's Victor, who is the Absorbaloff, says that he got the files from Torchwood. But the Bad Wolf, so that was a nice little homage to the first season. Virus deleted most of the information about Rose Tyler. Mm-hmm. And then in Fear Her, it's hard to hear, but we mentioned it during that episode, that the TV announcer in the background mentions Torchwood. There's a lot of little mentions of that.
And then the last Army of Ghosts and Doomsday are all about Torchwood. So
Yeah, we find out what the mystery is, which I really like because in that 2-part episode, the part 1 focuses itself on giving us the answers to the Torchwood mystery. And then part 2 finishes the
story,
lore, which is nice. Carries the whole story.
But I love how they do it, where it's so subtle, where when you're watching it the first time, you don't pick up on it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, you look back, oh, now I see it. Oh, that's cool. That's something added that you didn't want to see or hear the first time. So it's not so blatant like some of the other ones later on seasons. Right. They're like, oh, here's the big mystery. We're showing it to you so you can worry about it and plan and think what your alternate ideas could be.
They're like shining a spotlight where this one isn't. We also want to mention, I mean, we have mentioned this before, but there are TARDISodes, which are short promo episodes associated with each of the episodes in season 2, but are not available on the DVD set, and you can find them on YouTube. Just type in TARDISodes, and it shows a little bit of stuff that happens that's related to the episode that you're about to watch or will watch.
Arlene, what do you think about Rose's journey through this season? How did she grow or change?
It's so funny because I was thinking about this morning that I started off really hating Rose.
We know.
And I think that the first time I watched this, I was allowed to still hate Rose all the way through because I just knew more and I didn't really pay attention to her character because I was like, ugh, she's just annoying, and I moved on. But spending time like actually analyzing and watching her grow and changing to a different person, I really like her. Like her character, like her personality. I will miss her going on and talking about new episodes, and it was a nice thing to see, like a teenager grow into an adult, and they did a good job writing that.
I think her big moment was at the end of season 1 when Jackie and Mickey were in the little diner. And she's like, no, I've seen too much. I need to now do something. And she takes it upon herself to somehow get into the TARDIS. Now she gets help, from Jackie and Mickey, but she's like, no, I'm going back to the doctor. It's like nothing was going to stop her. I think that's when she really changed into owning who she is and knowing who she is. And then taking on the bad wolf, and that changed her. Because she's still at the beginning of this season iffy because of the whole, who is this guy? The doctor's changed. I don't know what to do. But you can see throughout this, she really does grow in this season to not necessarily need to rely on the doctor all the time. She's a lot more independent and helping the people and making decisions for herself. And you see with the whole Satan Pit Impossible Planet telling the people what to do. So I think she's come a long way, but I think the big pivotal point was at the end of season 1.
I can see that that's how it could have been her pivotal point, but I don't think it was making that decision. It's the results of her decision. I think her decision was still in a stubborn, like, I'm not ready to move on kind of situation. It's not really fully understanding who she is yet. She fully understands who she is later when she's willing to give her life at that point. I think that's when she's...
No, I agree with you that she doesn't know who she is yet, but she knows she's not the same person anymore that she used to be. It's like the first steps, and that's what I mean by that was when it started to change. Those are the first steps going, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I can't go back to being in the shop. I can't just sit by and do nothing and live my life the way it used to be. And she hasn't grown enough. I mean, School Reunion was a big, I think, slap in the face of reality for her that the doctor does leave companions behind.
Yeah.
I think that was a big growing moment as well.
And there is a hint throughout this season that Rose isn't going to go on forever with the doctor.
Yeah, her journey is ending.
Yeah. So, in School Reunion, it is, just Sarah Jane telling her, be careful.
This doesn't last.
Also you can look at the Satan Pit where the devil says she'll die in battle soon. Mm-hmm. So there's a hint on that. Rose says in Fear Her, they always try to break us up.
But they never ever will.
But they never ever will.
So she acknowledges it, but she won't accept it.
She tempted fate there. I'm just looking at the episode list now. And it would be interesting to watch School Reunion and then right after that do Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. That would be an interesting pairing. Mm-hmm. Where Sarah Jane, speaking from experience, is like, be careful. Yes, he's worth it, but be careful. And Rose being, everything will be fine. Mm-hmm. Listening to her by the end, but, everything's going to be fine. Oh, I'm going to travel with him forever.
So I think that's cool that a season has 2 things that you can look out for.
Yeah. I was thinking they did something like that trilogy in the first season, Satellite 5, and then they came back to it. I was like, this kind of ties into that, going, there are 3 that have that theme going through it that really help each other.
There is just a definite theme of loss.
Mm-hmm. And loneliness.
In this season.
Oh, yeah.
Rise of the Cybermen, Jackie. Age of Steel, Rose loses Pete. He rejects her.
Oh my God, the girl in the fireplace.
Girl in the fireplace, yeah. There's a lot of emotions running through this season. And then there's Love and Monsters, but whatever.
Well, we had lots of emotions in that
episode. True. Maybe not the ones they were shooting for.
And Brian, does she die in battle?
No.
But even on New Earth, they're always separating the Doctor and Rose. So this season, they were really separating them both for letting Rose grow, because she's separated, she has to be on her own. And also that's going to go, they're separated again. It's like, how many times can they keep doing this? I remember, Arlene, you even said that on some of the episodes. It's like, how many times? It's like, they're going to be fine, because they always do this. So they were setting that up for the final one where it's final. They're actually separated.
Are they, though?
So speaking of Rose, let's move on to Mickey. Kelsey, you had some good things to say about Mickey. Anything to comment?
No, I'll love to talk about Mickey and Jackie. I love what season 2 did to their characters. And maybe that's why I was a fan of Mickey and Jackie when we were going through series 1, because I had watched series 2. I think they just have really strong storylines in season 2, and it was just fun to watch, nice to see.
I agree. I feel like they set us up for them in season 1, and then we get the payoff in season 2 for both of them.
And the character arcs to me are very believable.
Another theme of this season is the repercussions of the Doctor's actions. I mean, the first season with Eccleston, it was overt. It was definitely, they went through the Time War, and he is really dealing with the repercussions of his actions by himself, in his own mind, and what he's going through. But here, he's seeing the actions, his repercussions through a lot of other people. Torchwood started because of him. So the whole ending and the Daleks and the Cybermen are because of him that came through. So many things happened because of what he's doing. Same with this. You see the repercussions of Jackie and Mickey and what they're going through because of the decisions the Doctor has made.
I just like Jackie because she's funny. She always has something to say.
Her and David Tennant, her and the Doctor played off really well at the last part of this.
Completely different dynamic from Eccleston.
But she also did, again, back Love and Monsters, that scene that she's talking about with the Doctor and saying, no, I will protect them no matter what. It's just such a great scene. And that's not comical, but she has great comic timing. But she can do both. That's what I love about her.
Camille.
Her acting, and it just comes off really truthful both ways.
Yeah, for me, her comic timing is showcased in Army of Ghosts when she meets Pete.
Right.
So good.
Doomsday.
Is it Doomsday?
It's Doomsday.
Okay. Where I'm rich. I don't care. How rich?
Very rich.
I don't care. How rich?
How very
rich. That was so good. Like, I know we mentioned this, but the little zoom in just slightly.
Slightly, yeah. Love that. Boom.
Well, so many of the secondary characters are fleshed out a lot more in this season.
Right.
I mean, besides Mickey and Jackie, I mean, Harry Jones comes back, or in the Christmas Invasion, and you see how much she's gone through and been affected by the Doctor, and she has a lot more depth. And Sarah Jane, Pete.
Well, Pete, we can just talk about Pete. This is the last time we see Pete, is in season 2.
Which is kind of funny because when you think overall of the whole storyline of Doctor Who, you think Pete's in
more episodes.
Yeah. But he makes such an impact in the 2 that he's in. It's amazing to me that Pete is only in 2 episodes.
Well, they're 2-parters, so he's in 4 for this season.
Oh,
Rise
yeah,
of
I'm sorry, I
Cybermen.
forgot about Rise of Cybermen and Age of Steel.
Well, okay, 2 stories, but he's, we know what we meant.
But he's not in Army of Ghosts. Pete doesn't show up until Doomsday.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And we also said this in the middle of Army of Ghosts. You thought he was in Army of Ghosts.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's only in Doomsday. But his presence is so there.
Yeah. I guess that's a testament to the writing.
Yeah.
And we keep calling it Pete's World, and the Doctor doesn't even bring that up until what, Doomsday?
Yeah, we're all talking about Pete's World the whole
associated
time.
with the Rise of the Cybermen and all that.
Yeah, Pete's World, and then there's Dead Pete's World.
And now there's Rose's World and Dead Rose's World.
Ooh, okay, I'll give you that.
Thank you. Can that go on record?
How about missing Rose's World?
No, I'm
No,
okay
Brian
with Dead
did it.
Rose.
Brian
I'm okay with
did it.
Dead Rose.
Okay.
But, I like when we see Pete in Father's Day in season 1, and then that could have been it. I would have been fine. That's his only episode, but yet we get this little extra something that makes his character and his story even all the more satisfying.
Richer.
Yeah.
Just like him.
Right.
And I love that there is that bit of a happy ending
For
with
him.
Pete and Jackie,
Yeah.
and she's pregnant, and it's like they did get together. It's like, okay, good. There is some happiness somewhere.
I think that's what I didn't like, that it's all tied up in a little bow and everybody gets their happy little
Rose
ending.
doesn't.
Well,
But at
The
least she's
Doctor
together
doesn't.
with Mickey
Their
and
family.
the family.
in her family.
Oh, is that
It's
the
a
Doctor
consolation
replacement?
prize.
Oh, these lovely parting gifts, but you don't get what's behind door number 2.
Yeah.
Or what's
But you know,
behind
she
the
wasn't
tire.
just left behind and not told where they were going, kind of thing.
Right.
Like it's
But I see,
another
I
of
mean,
the.
Jackie and Pete will still be fighting and everything, but it's not that Rosie tied up in a bow. It's like, no, they're going to be fighting and having big old
Oh, yeah.
spats.
Because they've had 20 years of opposite history. So it's,
But that they're still together, which is really nice.
yeah. Yeah. But I'm happy with the Jackie and Pete,
Oh yeah.
you know, because at the same time, Rose is just in the worst place she's ever been in her whole life. We needed something. And they didn't really focus on it. We didn't even see it, really. She just tells the doctor, when they're stalling about it. And it's just a nice little, oh, that's sweet. And then now let's get back to the meat of the episode.
It's weird because that scene is all exposition, but it's not bad. It's like, I want to hear more. I want more
Yeah.
exposition.
Yeah.
Which sometimes when you hear an exposition scene, you're like, this is exposition. Could you have not told this to us in a different way? But I think at Doomsday, when she does give her exposition to the doctor, it's what we needed at that moment.
It's written well.
Yeah, it's very well written. And I also like, we pointed this out too, that her story kind of bookends with her in season 1 waking up and in season 2 waking up from a bed.
Some of the other characters were Madame de Pompadour and Ida Scott. Both were really good, full characters.
Yeah,
so-
especially Renette.
We didn't mention this when we recorded the Girl in the Fireplace episode, but the actress Sophia Myles was dating David Tennant at that time, I believe, or shortly after they
Shortly
filmed
after that, they were together.
that episode.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Ida was great too. Ida was exposition. Hi, I'm here telling you everything that's going on this impossible planet. And yes, she does it so well that she's a well-rounded character as she's doing it. Again, testament to the actress and the writing of that. Here, let me show you this blue screen. And she completely sells the wonder of a black hole. I love Ida.
The Doctor, his arc in season 2 is interesting because Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor, starts off in a sad place, and by the end of season 1, he's in a happier place. David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, starts off in a happier place because that's who I guess the 10th Doctor is. And by the end of season 2, he's in a sad place because of his separation from Rose. So I think that's really great that they had opposed arcs emotionally for both of these 2 seasons.
And how they relate to each other. Because the Ninth Doctor was traumatized from the Time War, and he was holding everything in and not allowing himself, it seemed, for a long time to
cope or deal.
And also to have relationships with other people. And Rose breaks through that. In New Earth, he's very happy. He's gotten past the trauma. He hasn't forgotten it, but he's gotten past it. It's his relationship with Rose that
Brings about
his
Sadness
at the end.
Yeah.
So the thing that he learns to do with Christopher Eccleston is what tears him down with David Tennant.
I think it's great literary wise. If you have mapped it out and see the journey as an arc, the hero's journey.
Tell us about the hero's journey.
Please, Daddy.
Please, sir, I'd like some more.
Well, if we're going to break it down, it's just interesting how you can have a journey, but I guess the opposite of expectation. You want to end happy, but we don't. Rose and the Doctor are separated, and they have those tears are shed at the end.
The mascara runs.
But yet it's satisfying.
How do you think the second season would have changed or would have ended if Eccleston had stayed on? Do you think we would have lost both a companion and a doctor at the end of it? Or would they have kept Rose around for another year afterwards?
I mean, that's such a hypothetical. I don't know. But
it's all speculation.
I think they would have ended the journeys of both the Doctor and the companion because they already hinted at that in season 1.
I kind of fall to the side of they would have tried to keep one of them. Just for some kind of continuity in the show.
Well, the love story between Rose and the Doctor played off because they got David Tennant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think if we got Eccleston in the second season, the Rose love story would have happened.
Yeah, so like can we actually have seen Eccleston and Rose holding hands on an alien planet?
No, it would be more passionate. Because I feel like
think so?
Eccleston brings more passion to his character.
With Tennant, it was more puppy dog. I feel like Arlene and I were missing a lot of because you guys would be like, oh, and remember when like the Doctor said this to Rose? It meant that he loved her, and we were like, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
But also remember,
we were
you guys
missing
were
it.
doing that to us during season 1. With Eccleston, it was like, wait, you guys see that as romantic?
Yeah.
So it was flipped. That's interesting.
Segueing into that subject, we have an email from a listener.
That was a good one.
Melissa Seltzer, thank you for your email. I'm going to read it now. Or the subject is Rose and Her Doctors. Hi, Who Knew Podcast. Hi, Melissa. I just finished listening to the Children in Need podcast episode and wanted to join in the conversation about Rose's feelings toward the 9th and 10th Doctors. When I first watched Doctor Who a few years ago on Netflix, I always felt that the 9th Doctor was the father figure Rose needed in her life, especially after the wonderful Father's Day episode. She trusts him in a way that never struck me as anything more than fatherly. Eccleston played the Doctor with such a sense of intense sadness since he's fresh from the Time War, and I felt he was searching for a companion that would help him heal from that. I'm likely bringing my own personal history to the table, but I never felt the two were romantic. They needed each other in that specific time of their lives, and the relationship they develop helps them both move forward. When 9 regenerates into 10, Rose is devastated to lose her father figure she's allowed into her life, but she learns to accept 10, although it's a different relationship. She copes with the regeneration by seeing the Doctor in a new light. 10 is also goofier and lighthearted. Rose begins to fall in love with the 10th Doctor, as I did as well. David Tennant is my favorite Doctor, and I look forward to the podcasts covering his time. Melissa Seltzer, wishfully future companion to the Doctor.
Nicely written.
Very well
I
written.
agree
Yeah.
with her.
I prefer to see it as it was love all the way through. It's just the person expressed their love differently. Because, in the end, like when they were going to go get fish and chips, like she puts her head on his shoulder, kind of like, oh yeah, we're going, I'm buying her.
I think it works both ways.
But both are valid.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
are valid.
And I think that shows more of how Rose has changed from the season 1 to season 2, in that she was young and looking more for a mentor, father figure, however you want to put that, in this. And in the second one, she's become a lot more in her own right, knowing who she is, what she wants. And so she's looking at this new incarnation of the Doctor differently. And that's not the same thing as I needed now. Now it's younger. And that's what a lot of people who liked the classic series hate about Tennant and don't like him as the Doctor, is that they make him too human.
Yes.
And there's the love relationship going on between Rose and Tennant, or the Doctor.
They don't like that at all. They think it's just there
Sacrilegious.
should be no romantic entanglement between a Doctor and a companion.
I think that's what the show needed to be revived and introduced to the new audience.
So that's the reason a lot of people do like
Yes.
Tennant as the Doctor, because he is more relatable. He does show
It's a
different
fine line
emotion.
they need to walk.
Balance.
It's interesting. So for the same reason, you either like it or hate it.
But I remember first season episodes where you guys are bringing up the you see the romance beginning, nothing overt, but beginning. And I remember at first being shocked, going, I never, ever thought that. But then also remember, almost every single time I went, now I can totally see it. And now I want to watch the episode again, which is what I like about us discussing these on this podcast, is that we are getting differing views and everybody's view is valid. And maybe it can help change the way you look at episodes. And now I watch the first season episodes going, oh yeah, okay, I see it. Eccleston's passionate.
I think sitting on the apple grass on New Earth
That's what's
was a
yeah.
main big difference, showing that. Because before then there was Eccleston, then they had the Christmas invasion, and then this really is like a first date.
It's a first date, yeah.
And they're both kind of giddy and excited, like this is something
Lying
new and
on his
different. I
coat.
don't know what's going on. Right? So I think that is where a lot of it, that would be
Shifts.
the pivotal change point for how Rose sees the Doctor and how she's going
I
to be
didn't
growing.
see it as a first date. I saw it more like as we're celebrating something together, as they've been together for a while and they've been, we get to sit alone in the midst of all of our chaos. We get this time to have a date. So I did see that they already had a built relationship to be where they were. It wasn't, because first dates are like awkward. Like, I don't know if this is kind of romantic. Should it be romantic? They felt very comfortable sitting there together. So it was more of we're already established.
And I see it more as we were friends and now something's changing where we're going to that next place. We're leaving the friend zone.
Have you ever gone on a date with a friend? That you were really good
Yep.
friends first. And
Yes, he certainly has.
So was it like super comfortable still, or was it still that anxiousness?
Yep. It was awesome.
It was uncomfortable, but it was an exciting.
But they weren't uncomfortable. They were just happy.
No, but I mean, there was something. It was like,
Yep.
oh.
So speaking of New Earth, Cassandra is reintroduced to us in season 2 in New Earth. I think it's great that a villain has a story arc or a character arc, like a cardboard cutout villain, in season 1, in the end of the world is just, she's the bad guy.
It's pun intended, though. Cardboard cutout.
You mean they fleshed her out in this episode?
So instead of being 2-dimensional, she's 3-dimensional. How long can we keep this going?
She's both 3-dimensional and 2-dimensional. Emotional, physical.
They pump some more blood into her?
They keep her
Yeah.
moist.
Yes. But I think it's cool that her theme in The End of the World is to signal us into the future. It's got like a weird outer worldly quality. And then when you hear it in New Earth, it's almost sad because it's related to her and not the setting. So I think that's cool that Murray Gold and Russell were able to craft not only a character that they're going to revisit, but also a piece of music.
And that also ties into the theme of endings. In season 2, because Cassandra is the ultimate I'm going to have to live forever, I can't die.
Yeah.
But by the end of the episode,
She's done.
She dies, and she's not necessarily okay with it, but she's accepted it.
Yeah, and to me it's poetically tragic how she dies with herself, her older self.
Right.
There's also another theme going through this season that reminds me of, and that's humans changing and trying to help themselves or
Yeah.
Or
somehow
better.
upgrade themselves.
Literally.
So, right. So they have the whole Sisters of Plenitude, and they're growing humans to try and help others and get all the different vaccines
Yeah.
and cures
They're doing like bad things.
with good intentions.
Yes.
I mean, the Cybermen that come up, they're all about, no, let's make you all better, be like us, and you're upgraded, going on up. The Krillitanes that come in School Reunion are all trying to constantly morph and change themselves into trying to be better. Even the Empire of the Wolf wants to happen in Tooth and Claw.
Yeah, something that I don't know what exactly.
To
But
control other people. And even Torchwood, to some extent, they're trying to get all the alien technology to help the Great British Empire to be better and use what information they get from that. Only the Daleks are like the opposite. If you're not us, you're dead.
But even all the way back to Christmas Invasion at the end, where the doctor says, I told the Sycorax to leave. I should have told them to run because the human race is coming.
The change.
The human race is ready to expand, and that's just going to be trouble for the whole galaxy, kind of a thing.
Well, even Frank, to your point, Jackie's biggest critique of Rose was, "You're going to change.
Right.
You won't even be recognizable as a human."
Right.
Wow.
Good one.
Yeah. No. Well, good for connecting that.
Yeah, because that's my favorite scene. I love that scene. How did? Oh, thank you.
and other, you want to mention other aliens that we're introduced to this season?
Sure, we have the previous aliens, Cybermen, Daleks, and Cassandra.
No,
and
she's not alien. She's human.
She's human.
Oh, well.
She's alien enough.
I keep thinking her as, I guess, the villain.
Yeah.
Rather than alien. But then they have new ones with the Sycorax, Sisters of Plenitude, the Clockwork Repair Droids, Absorbaloff, which was, there's some good ones and some that are maybe not as good. Mr. Finch and the Krillitanes, the Werewolf and Monks, another one that I'm not really happy with is the Wire, the TV lady. We have actual Satan, the Beast, in this one. The Ood, which
The
are
Ood were
interesting.
good.
And I want to see more of them.
Oh, that's
so
right.
that'd
That
be
was the
good.
intro to the Ood.
I think you're not going to get that satisfaction, bro. Frank. Just kidding.
Isolus? Is that her name? The
Isolus.
little lost Isolus?
That's the name of the species, I guess.
person.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
So they had some really good introductions for characters and other ones that, to me, I don't think were as good.
Back to the Cybermen. I like this version of the Cybermen. This is probably my favorite version.
Because
agree
they have
with you.
blue eyes.
No, blue mouths.
mouths.
Blue mouths. The eyes are just these black holes, right?
Yeah.
Because the classic version, origin story of the Cybermen is with the 10th planet, and they live on this planet called Mondas, which rotates on the parallel orbit.
It's on the other side of the sun.
Other side of the orbit, yeah, of the sun. And in that episode, their planet gets destroyed, and then it gets retconned how it's on Telos, which we will probably visit soon, in Tomb of the Cybermen. And I like how in this version of the Cybermen, it's a parallel world, still keeping sort of the heart of that story connected. Like it is Earth, but now it's a parallel world, not an opposite orbit. And so I think that's sort of cool for me as a like geeking out a little bit of revitalizing that version. That at one point I was hoping that when we were in those episodes, somebody would mention Mondos or Mondosian or something like that, but it didn't happen. It's just fine. I can have it my way.
Or do you mean like within the episode, like
Yeah.
as an Easter egg?
Yeah,
or
it's an Easter
something?
egg because that was, I think we mentioned it's the 50th anniversary of the Cybermen at that point. That's why they went all out as opposed to the Dalek, which is one episode. This was a two-parter.
And after watching Tomb of the Cybermen, the second to last episode, Army of Ghosts,
Yes.
had some sort of references to that with the plastic and some of the other things that I think some of us noticed, even though we're not classic
Fans, I guess.
fans. Yeah.
The Doctor is without the use of his TARDIS several times in season 2. I'll point those out. And they're in the two-parters, Rise of the Cybermen and Age of Steel, and then The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. Where in season 1, he was only without the use of his TARDIS in one episode, the Father's Day episode. So I think that's interesting because I remember, I think it was Josh saying, how many times has he been without the TARDIS or without access to the TARDIS? Where in End of the World, it's taken by the valet, so he has access to it. It's just not something he needs to get. What I'm thinking of here is the purpose of the Doctor in that particular storyline is to get the TARDIS and himself reunited instead of, oh, it's just there.
Meaning that if he had the TARDIS, the episode would be a lot shorter.
Yeah.
The solution is part in the TARDIS. You can
Yeah.
do things. And so they had to get rid of it somehow. They had to separate them.
Yep.
Being, sci-fi fantasy guy, I find correlations between season 2 of Doctor Who and Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 2. In just the feel of it, the unattainable love between the two, and at the end, they're separated by different worlds. And there are some really great episodes as a whole story arc idea for both seasons. For either Buffy had some great season 2 episodes
And
they
some
also
really bad ones.
filler standalone episodes, and I feel that's the same way with this, with Idiot's Lantern, Fear Her, ones that and Love and Monsters,
yeah.
that I don't think are all that great. Looking back on them and after I talk, I do see some good value in them, and there are some good scenes in them, but overall the storyline I didn't like that much.
But don't look at Arlene. Love and Monsters, she invented her own category of hatred.
If they would have just taken out the Jackie part and put it in another episode,
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I'd never have to watch Love and Monsters. Totally agree.
Or maybe fast forward
Yeah.
and then imagine Frank's ending at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe we can have our own phantom cut of that episode.
For season 1, we kept talking about all these people who have been good companions. Do we have any season 2 would be good companions?
Well, we mentioned
There's
Ida.
Ida Scott, who I think I wanted to learn more about. I thought she'd be really well. Madame de Pompadour.
Mrs. Moore from
Right.
Cybermen.
We had
Rise
that.
of the Cybermen and Age of Steel.
That was our
her?
big
She was one of
debate on that.
Ricky's
It's like,
gang.
has she gone too far, or is she redeemable? And
That might be it because Chloe Weber is part of the story, and then Elton isn't part of. Yeah.
How about the kid in the one with the wire?
Tommy.
Tommy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tommy, yeah.
I can see
good.
that.
I could see that, yeah.
Do we just have a lot of you would never be a good companion?
Yeah.
No, they did more flesh out the different characters, but they were within their own time and own story that had some good dimension to it.
I think we had adjacent companions, and that's why we spent so much time in their stories rather than introducing new potential companions. I think that's why.
Like
You know,
who?
Like
Well,
Jackie,
fleshing out Jackie and Mickey.
and Pete.
The Doctor and Rose's relationship was so strong and strengthening during the course of the season. There wasn't an opportunity for somebody else to even be in the running to take her place the way there was in season 1 when they were still getting to know each other more. At least that's one of the things that I think made it harder for a possible new companion this season.
And I remember we had the discussion the last episode, does the Doctor love Rose? Pausing for such a long time to say it, but I'm always yes. He was in love with Rose. School reunion, I just wanted to reiterate, he said that he can't spend his life with Rose. She can spend his life with him, but he can't spend his life. And that's the curse of the Time Lords. And to see that as a curse, that he can't do that, I think adds to why he loves her. He sees that part as a curse, not as that I think was an interesting line.
Also, I forgot I wanted to ask you this when we were talking about Eccleston earlier. Eccleston wouldn't have stalled on that beach, would he?
No.
Yeah.
He would have had his moment.
Yeah.
And he would have shared it and made it very well known and then been really sad afterwards.
Yeah.
Instead of pretending it didn't happen.
Completely agree.
Okay, so this reminds me of school reunion when we had that debate. We found a clip about the doctor just leaving a companion. We found a clip from the classic version, classic in quotation marks. We'll play it for you guys. It's with Sarah Jane and K9.
So this is K9 and Company was going to be a spin-off in the 80s, and you'll understand why it's the 80s when you see this.
Wait, should we show the intro first and then the clip, or the
No,
clip?
do the clip.
Do the clip. You already set it up.
So this is, when it was he just dumps her and doesn't care. We had a little debate about that. So that gets a little addressed in this clip where...
This is where she gets K9.
Yeah. And she's at her aunt's house, and her aunt has this crate that's addressed to Sarah Jane. And Sarah Jane doesn't know what it is.
So we just watched the clip of K9 and Company, which is a pilot episode of the spin-off series I guess they tried to do in the 80s with Sarah Jane and how she got K9. So that kind of addresses something that we discussed in school reunion about the doctor and him leaving a companion.
And when they aired K9 and Company, the pilot, which is entitled Girl's Best Friend, it got 8.9 million people watching it.
Wow.
It was big. But
Especially
it's
for
still...
81.
It still didn't get picked up.
But it did affect the characterization of Sarah Jane moving forward in novels, in audio dramas, and even Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah, which is the spin-off show that I mentioned earlier. We'll eventually revisit that and, do an episode on Sarah Jane Adventures. There's some good ones.
There are a lot of good ones.
It's a kid's show, but it's very good. And, Sarah Jane is a companion that I think is one of the favorites. I think it's great that we brought her back in season 2.
So I think they kind of wanted to address the fact that he dumped Sarah Jane.
Okay. And so when Sarah Jane was on the show, when she was traveling with the doctor, K9 wasn't.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, K9 came after.
So this isn't from Doctor Who. This is from
a
a
show called
spin-off.
K9 and Company.
Okay.
But then in the reboot, they kind of stayed true to that by having Sarah Jane have K9.
Yeah.
In season 2, they really, I think, experimented and expanded how they are playing around with different ways of filming or telling a story. So Tooth and Claw had the whole, ninja
Action
monks
sequence.
and the coloring and how they filmed it. And
Idiot Box.
Lantern.
Idiot's Lantern. Sorry.
the Alien's Lantern was all askew. What do you call that when it's
Dutch angles.
Dutch angles? Even Love and Monsters was told a whole different way than what we usually see, taken from Elton's point of view. And I think The Girl in the Fireplace was even filmed a little bit differently, having that romantic aspect. So they really are experimenting, and I think that was a great part of season 2, that you can see different types of filmmaking or storytelling.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot more comfortable. The show's a success, so they don't have to worry about that anymore.
In 2007, the BAFTA Awards, David Tennant won for Best Actor for his performance in Doomsday. Russell T. Davies won the award for Best Screenplay for the episode Doomsday. Billie Piper was nominated for Best Actress in her performance in Doomsday, but lost to somebody else.
Oh,
They also won for Best Makeup for The Girl in the Fireplace, and Best Editing or Editor for Tooth and Claw. And then at the TV Quick and TV Choice Awards show, they won for Best Loved Drama in a double win, with the award being presented to Russell T. Davies, Julie Gardner, and Phil Collinson. And David Tennant won for Best Actor for his portrayal of the Doctor, while Billie Piper won for Best Actress for portraying Rose Tyler. People really loved season 2. They gave a lot of awards to it. And then in the 2007 Saturn Awards, the show was nominated for Best Syndicated Cable Television Series and Best Television DVD Released. But it didn't win either, which is sad. Yeah, The Girl in the Fireplace continued to win at the 2007 SFX Awards for Best TV Show, and that went to Euroslyn and Stephen Moffat. Then The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit were also nominated, and so were Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. And then David Tennant won for the Best TV Actor, and Billie Piper won for Best TV Actress in the Saturn Awards of that year as well. Oh, and for the work on the werewolf in Tooth and Claw, they also won for the 2007 VES Awards. So that special effects team won. So yeah, they were just raking in all these awards.
Yeah, when you win that many awards, you say, hey, let's make 2 spinoffs.
Yeah, yes. We have the clout.
I compiled a list of all our recommendations or lack thereof. We all really like the first part of the season. In the new categories, we have the ranking of 1 to 4, with 1 being everybody would like it, all the way down to 4, which only a diehard Who completist would like. It's all 1s and 2s until we get to Rise of the Cybermen. That's when we get our first 3, which is just for a fan, and that's Arlene and Kelsey. And we're kind of split on the 2-parter of that, with half of us pretty much saying, it completes the story well, and the other half not. And then we start to get into some varied rankings. We get our first 4, which is Die Hard for The Idiot's Lantern, and that's Kelsey, and I'm sure she stands by that. But we even have, with Idiot's Lantern, we have someone who says that anybody could see it, and that's Arlene. And you stand by that.
I do stand by that.
Yeah. Then we get Impossible Planet and Satan Pit, and that's ranging from 2 to 4s. Again, we're split on whether we think the 2-parter was worth it. I don't know. Every time I think about that 2-parter, I like it better than when I actually watch it. But it's every single time. Like right now, I'm thinking, how could I have given it a 3? Those are really good episodes. And then I watch them and I go, yeah, it's a 3.
Yeah, they were definitely impactful. Like, they're good episodes to watch. Just for a casual view, you're not going to watch those.
And see, I always feel that I would, and then I do, and go, why did I do that?
Yeah, why did I do that?
Very strange.
I think I'm opposite of you. Every time I think about those episodes, I'm never watching those. I hate parts of it. And then if it's on or we're watching, this is better than I remember it being.
And then we our most consistent episode is Love and Monsters. That's a 3 and 4, except for Arlene's 5.
There you go.
I think we all kind of agree that one.
It's a special episode.
Yeah, did not live up to any sort of potential. And then, Fear Her is middling. And then Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, 1s and 2s, which, anybody can watch or casual fan. And then we all agree that as a 2-parter, it holds up. And that's basically Doomsday being... living up to the potential of the first part is our only unanimous in the entire season.
Wow.
Because we opened the category up.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to say 1 and 2 is positive reaction, 3 and 4 is a little bit more negative. We do agree all the way up. We go from New Earth to Girl in the Fireplace as positives. We don't start negatives until we get to Rise of the Cybermen. And then we're all positive on Army of Ghosts and Doomsday.
A lot of 2-parters this season. 3 2-parters?
3.
Yeah.
Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel, Impossible Planet, Satan Pit, Army of Ghosts, and Doomsday.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of...
I mean, even with New Earth, a 2-parter because it connects to season 1 with Cassandra.
But I do think with this format, those standalone episodes in the middle, they are never the best because they can't stand, like when you have a 2-parter, even if it's not a good 2-parter, they put a lot of money and production value into it because they can, and then those standalones that follow after it can't live up.
And I think if I remember correctly, the Army of Ghosts, those of us who put it as a 2, was only because we wanted people to watch more episodes afterwards. And if it was this is the only shot they're going to ever have a time to watch Doctor Who, we would say yes, put it as a new Who viewer because it's good, but it's going to ruin it if they continue on being a fan of the show.
Right. You want them to, if they're going to be a fan of the show, to watch it in the order
it was intended. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also, in the middle of the season, we did the TV movie and the Time Warrior. And for that one, it was basically, did we like it? And for both of those, the Third Doctor's serial of the Time Warrior and the 1996 TV movie, we all liked them, except there was one person who did not like the TV movie, and that was Frank.
You all brought up good points, so it's not as bad as I remember if I'm watching it alone. It's like, there are some, but it's one I really don't want to watch again. No. I'll stick to it.
And then lastly, we did the Christmas Invasion, but that was the one where we did the scale from 1 to 10, which did not work at all.
That's my fault.
Oh, I was going to blame me. But
Well, everything that goes wrong is your fault, Eugene.
It's because I didn't have a blue light.
We were still in a regeneration period.
yeah, we were still getting to it was all new. But we all seemed to like it, except Arlene was 5, so you were very neutral on it, one way or the other. And Josh was a 6, so he was actually leaning towards
The
negative.
other side, yeah.
Well, so that's a problem because that whole 1 through 10 scale, because I remember him saying 5 was
I'm in the middle.
Yeah,
everybody.
but he was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we pointed it out then that
Okay.
he wasn't reading it
Then I
properly.
changed it to very quickly.
No, you changed to 1.
I thought it was 2.
Oh. No, Frank gave it a 2.
Oh, I remember doing that as a joke. 2.
2. Yeah.
Let's
Eugene
not
and
dwell
I
on that. That was very confusing, and I'm still confused.
Yeah. So that was season 2, our reactions, all in a nutshell.
So that's season 2, 13 episodes long. David Tennant's first year as the Doctor.
Yay.
Mickey with his shirt off.
Yay!
Rose's last year as the
Yay.
companion.
Oh.
This is the first time we see Freema, and this is the first time we see Catherine Tate.
Yay.
Yay.
A little tag at the end.
Yeah, we'll tell you then.
What is this place?
So thanks for joining us for all of season 2, and to an extent all of season 1 and season 2. I hope we'll get you guys back for the rest of this journey. And would we recommend season 2 to? I'm just kidding. I can kind of safely say yes, we would.
Keep your comments coming.
Yes, they're great. The Twitter, email. So thanks again. It's been fun, and we'll keep it fun as we keep going through and maybe eventually catch up to current Doctor Who. I don't know if that'll happen, but maybe. So join us next time when the future becomes the present.
You've just listened to an episode of Who Knew?
Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady.
Find him on Facebook.
At The Universe Explodes.
All our episodes are engineered by our very own Auburn.
Find me at alburnbinkley.com.
You can find this show in several places.
Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcasts.
Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher.
Or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/whoknewpodcast.
All our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com.
You can leave comments there or email us at
whoknewpodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who.
The longest running sci-fi show in history.
And especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davis.
Thanks to Russell,
Sydney Newman,
Verity Lambert,
Ron Grainer.
And all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
Your work continues to inspire and entertain.
ice cream.
Did you go back and see ice cream?
No.
Exactly.